Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
The baby formula shortage is hitting new parents in our state hard. Our Maggie Hall spoke to some of those impacted and found out that a state agency is now stepping in to offer more supply and cheaper prices for those who need it most.
This news release from Chemung County Executive Christopher J. Moss spells out one thing that New York State is doing to combat the baby formula shortage. The Women, Infant, and Children Supplemental Nutrition Program has added more container sizes and powdered formula to their EWIC cards, making the formula more accessible and affordable. I spoke to families and a Target associate about how this national shortage has had a very local effect here in our very own southern tier. The Target associate didn't want to give me her name, but told me, "Our shelves are empty. Every phone call we get for infant hardlines, the baby stuff that's not clothes, is for formula. We also place a limit of 4 items per guest, so basically of the formula we do have, you cannot buy in bulk, and the selection is minimal to none." Quinlan and Camden Ayers are parents of 2 young boys in Horseheads who sat down to chat with me about the shortage.
Formula is, if you're not breastfeeding, then you have to feed your baby, and it cannot be foods, solids or anything like that until 4 months of age usually. So newborns and really tiny infants, they need something to eat, and when there's nothing, it's very, very scary.
If you're a family with children still on formula, visit fns.usda.gov/WIC to see if your family qualifies in this formula time of need. This is Maggie Hall with WYDC Big Fox News Elmira Report.
Local poet Michael Zarnecki instructs attendees at the first hike and write of the summer season at Tanglewood Nature Center in Elmira. The event encourages people to get in touch with their artistic side, hiking through the many trails the Nature Center has to offer.
Being outdoors is one of those wonderful places to be creative. There's so much inspiration in nature. And we're going to be doing this again next week, June 15th at Spencer Crest Nature Center in Corning, 6:30 to 8 o'clock. And you should come out and join us if you can.
As new variants make COVID more contagious, federal health officials are focused on keeping hospitalizations and deaths at low levels through treatments and vaccination. Charles Watson has more.
The COVID case count is still ticking up. We're now averaging more than 110,000 cases every day in the U.S., the highest number since February. But more help could be on the way. The White House says millions of vaccine doses for small children have been ordered by doctors and pharmacies, with final approval of the vaccines for kids 6 months to 5 years expected as early as next week, and shots potentially going into arms by June 21st. But the high demand is forcing the White House to shift dwindling COVID funds toward buying the doses, which means cutting back on other treatment programs.
Without additional funding, we are unable to purchase life-saving treatments for the American people, including our most vulnerable. We've already cut down on our purchase of treatments for high-risk Americans.
The feds are also working to secure enough doses of the Novavax vaccine, which was given the green light by the FDA's independent advisory panel this week. It's still awaiting final approval by the CDC, but it's a more traditional protein-based vaccine, and health officials are hoping it could win over folks who have been skeptical of the new mRNA technology.
If there really is a population of patients who are willing to take this and not willing to take the existing vaccines, I think it's pretty compelling.
Moderna also saying Wednesday it's asking the feds to authorize a new booster designed to protect against Omicron subvariants. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
The housing crunch is setting new records nationwide. Demand for mortgages hit its lowest level in 22 years this week, with rising interest rates and lack of available houses putting demand on ice from potential homebuyers. The volume of mortgage applications sank by 6.5% last week in comparison to the week prior, as interest rates jumped 0.7%. Mortgage rates have been up since the start of the year, close to 5.5%, from just under 3.5% in January. Social media can help open worlds, spread ideas, and promote change. Topics near and dear to one immigration activist who is using his popular TikTok account to help educate migrants trying to enter the U.S. Kevin Cork has more.
A 23-year-old law student is harnessing the power of TikTok to help migrants safely enter the U.S. With more than 3 million followers and counting, Carlos Espina is going viral. The social media influencer patrols sections of the U.S.-Mexico border along the town of Eagle Pass, Texas. It's where he films videos in Spanish, educating migrants on the dangers they may encounter on their journey, as well as how to navigate the American judicial system.
Once you get released, you have to go to your courts, how the court system works, all that kind of information, which is really lacking when you see someone on social media say, the border's open, everybody come.
Because TikTok's format caters to short clips, Espina says it's very convenient for relaying information to migrants on the move.
You don't have access to a television, so what do? You go on your phone, you watch a 10-second, 15-second TikTok.
Espina and his parents legally immigrated to Texas back when he was 5 years old. He now feels a personal responsibility to help people trying to escape violence and poverty access a better life.
I'm a U.S. citizen. Why can't others have that same opportunity? I've been blessed in this country.
And so far, it seems to be working. He often gets recognized by migrants coming in who used his videos as a guide.
He informs us of the river current when it goes up and down, the situation of border agents, and the suffering migrants are facing when crossing.
Meanwhile, the situation at the border is intensifying as this year's largest migrant caravan continues marching through southern Mexico toward the U.S. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
An emotional hearing on Capitol Hill Wednesday as lawmakers listened to testimony from families of mass shooting victims and a survivor of the Texas school shooting. It comes as senators walk a tightrope trying to find a narrow compromise on gun reform. Chad Pergram tells us where things now stand.
There was the Uvalde pediatrician.
I will never forget what I saw that day.
Parents who lost kids.
As her voice, we demand action. We understand that for some reason, to some people, to people with money, to people who fund political campaigns, that guns are more important than children.
And the harrowing tale of a fourth grader who survived the slaughter.
Shot my teacher and told my teacher goodnight and shot her in the head. He shot my friend that was next to me, and I thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
New York Mayor Eric Adams begged lawmakers to stop the violence.
It is high noon in America.
But Second Amendment advocates warned against scaling back access to arms amid a crime wave.
Who and you who would call for more gun controls are the same ones that are calling to defund the police.
Republicans contend the Second Amendment is immutable.
Evil deeds do not transcend constitutional rights. It's the other way around.
Bipartisan senators are negotiating a narrow gun bill, but barring assault weapons is off the table.
Why do you oppose reinstating the assault weapons ban?
We're trying to get an outcome.
Progressives could oppose a Senate bill, but some Democrats will take anything at this stage.
Even if we make incremental progress, those are incremental life saves.
The House has just approved a strict gun control bill. It would raise the age to buy assault weapons. But that bill is just window dressing for the left. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Your complete forecast is next. Plus, bug spray is helpful for keeping those pesky insects away during the summer. But one Washington man found a whole new use for the deterrent. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, that heavy rainfall moved through into the early morning hours, and rainfall as of earlier this morning. We are looking at accumulations upwards of 2 inches. Berkshire there reaching that 2-inch threshold. Corning just a few tenths of an inch, or hundredths of an inch, I should say, off there. Elmira just around 1.25 inches. So it was a soaking system. We have continued to watch for some scattered showers throughout the daytime, but we're watching the system continue to dissipate and clear out as we step through the overnight. As we head through the overnight, there might be some areas of some fog that will linger into early tomorrow morning, maybe with some higher cloud cover as well. And it is going to be cooler. We are expecting with those calm, clear and cool skies that low temperatures could be reaching those lower 50s. Looking at across the board, general number about 50 degrees into Corning, 51 into Elmira, some of those lower 50s there up through the Finger Lakes, but it's going to be a bit chilly. But we are looking at your Friday to be a very beautiful day with that sunshine abundant. We will see this time of the year more of that daylight time, higher sun angle will bring those temperatures back up to seasonal, and we are expected to stay dry for your Friday, and you'll want to take advantage of it. Have a Friday night cookout, because as we head into the weekend, we are going to work in again some more shower and thunderstorm chances, as well as some cloudier skies throughout much of the weekend. Now, we will see temperatures hold to about mild conditions for Saturday and Sunday, but into next week we are going to be tracking a warming trend with temperatures back up potentially even into the 80s, but it is going to be paired with more rain chances. So rolling through forecast, as mentioned, we are looking at those clear skies around, maybe some areas of fog or cloud cover that should dissipate as we head into the afternoon. So lots of bright sunshine for Pennsylvania into New York. But what we'll be tracking as we head into Friday night into Saturday is cloud cover increases. You see some disorganized shower activity off to the south of us. We'll look at some afternoon potential thunderstorms to move through. So you'll still see sometimes the sunshine, but it is going to be paired with some of that thunderstorm activity to follow. So Friday, it is also going to be a little breezy as that system exits and a new system moves its way in. Wind gusts could be up to about 25 miles per hour. So note a little breezy, but for the most part, we're going to be seeing that sunshine, and high temperatures will climb at least into those mid 70s. So a few degrees below average, but a very, very comfortable day, especially as we continue to head into these spring and summertime months ahead, where the heat is expected to continue to build. And when we head into your Saturday forecast, that's where we'll see that temperatures still hold slightly below average, but comfortable, 74, some sunshine, thunderstorms possible into the evening hours. Again, that chance will return for your Sunday with a high of 75 degrees. And then as we step into next week, we'll start to see that warming trend. Will be upper 70s by Monday, Tuesday, which will hit average, but then we could start to see those 80s as early as Wednesday. But this is also going to continue to be paired with some shower and thunderstorm chances. As of now, the risk for severe weather continues to remain fairly low, but it looks like we could stay under the soaking weather pattern, as much of June has started off wet and could continue as we head into that next week of June.
Big tech hits pause in hiring, and Meta scraps its Apple Watch competitor. Chris Foster has all that and more in today's Business Briefs.
The maker of Jif peanut butter projecting the company will lose $125 million because of a nationwide recall last month. The J.M. Smucker company voluntarily recalled select products amid a salmonella outbreak that sickened at least 16 people in a dozen states. Since the recall, over a dozen other companies have recalled products that contain J.M. Smucker brand peanut butter. Intel is hitting pause on hiring in the division responsible for PC desktop and laptop chips as part of its series of cost-cutting measures. It's also cutting back on travel and industry conferences. The move comes as other tech companies reassess their staffing levels and spending ahead of a possible global recession. Twitter and Microsoft have started scaling back. Last month, Meta announced it would halt some hiring. Meanwhile, Microsoft and IBM laying off hundreds of employees in Russia. Many companies have scaled back or stopped doing business altogether in Russia to protest the invasion of Ukraine. And Meta is halting development on its rival to the Apple Watch. The smartwatch was said to have dual cameras, activity tracking, built-in Spotify, and messaging. It's been in development for at least 2 years. Cost cuts likely played a role in that decision. It comes as the company, formerly known as Facebook, starts trading under its new ticker, Meta. For more stories, log on to foxbusiness.com. I'm Chris Foster.
A store clerk in Washington state fought off an armed robber with bug spray. Police say the suspect tied to a massive crime spree. Simon Gutierrez has more.
Surveillance video shows the man walking into the store wearing a ball cap and a bandana over his face. After pulling an item out of the cooler, he walks to the counter where the clerk meets him. At that point, the man rummages through his pocket and pulls out a handgun. The clerk quickly grabs a can of wasp spray and unloads on the man, who you can see running away.
I heard about it the next day from customers. And then I called the girl that was involved in it, and she said, yep, it's true. So she was really scared about it and, upset and nervous, but she's okay now. But she's a really good shot with that wasp spray.
Virginia Keck has been a clerk at the store for 8 years. She says crime in the neighborhood around the market has increased dramatically in that time.
Do you generally feel less safe than you did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I won't work here at night.
According to police, the man in the B&B surveillance video is now tied to more than 30 armed robberies in the area, the most recent on June 6th, ranging from Vancouver to West Lynn to Hillsborough. He managed to evade police for weeks, but they finally arrested him last night after another armed robbery in North Portland. Simon Gutierrez, Fox 12 Oregon.
A renowned water photographer is taking us on a wild ride as he braces intense surf from extremely powerful waves to capture their immense beauty. Ashley Stromier has a special look at his death-defying process.
The beauty of the ocean is matched only by its might, something photographer Clark Little of Hawaii knows all too well, as he thrusts himself into the heavy surf of some of the world's most dangerous waves, all to capture the perfect shot.
Clark's so connected with what he's looking at. It seems so natural to him.
One area of Little's expertise is photographing a phenomenon known as shore break. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration describes it as an unsafe ocean condition where waves break directly onto a steep shore, creating intense force which can slam someone into the ground or pin them underwater, resulting in serious injury or even death.
Shore break is so beautiful and scary at the same time. Like I said, I used to surf the shore break, so it's my comfort zone. I like sand bottom. I think it has more aqua, beautiful colors.
But Little is a pro, and his new book, The Art of Waves, captures the last 15 years of his exciting time behind his lens, which he shields behind a fortified waterproof case. Little also comes from a surfing background, and many of his professional surfing friends say his pictures don't disappoint.
His books capture the things about the ocean that make us believe in, higher powers.
Meantime, even though the Hawaiian Islands experience extremely powerful surf, NOAA officials say you should practice safety at any beach you visit this summer. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
The national baby formula shortage is forcing hospitals and mothers in need to look for other options. Many are turning to breast milk as an alternative, but some milk banks are struggling to handle that surge in demand. Jake Carlexis has the story.
They're facing supply chain issues, which are making it hard to complete orders. Breast milk banks are having a tough time getting what they need to deliver milk on time, and it could get worse if demand keeps going up.
We're trying to find new ways to up our volume every day.
Finley Bolting House helps package breast milk at the Northwest Mother's Milk Bank. This milk goes to Alaska, Washington State, Oregon, and Idaho. In the last couple of months, Bolting House has been filling a lot more orders.
The demand never really goes away. If it's not hospitals asking us, then it's like individual people with prescriptions.
And milk banks didn't see this national shortage coming.
In some cases, we're paying 2 or 3 times what we would normally expect. It's a huge increase, if you can find the material.
Breast milk is sent out in sealed bottles. Shipping coordinator Jeff Johnston says a supply chain backlog has made it hard to get bottles and caps, especially without spending a lot more.
We forecast what we thought the volume would be, but the volume's up this year. And so when we placed our order for raw supplies, bottles and caps, we're running a little behind.
And other organizations are reporting similar problems.
In this situation where you're having a national formula crisis, there's some shortages and needs everywhere, so that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Executive Director of Indiana's Milk Bank, Freedom Kolb, says they supply breast milk to more than 20 states across the country. They're also dealing with a supply shortage.
It is one of those things that we're monitoring on a week-by-week basis with our distributor and our manufacturer.
Bolting House says even if supply issues get worse, her team will find a way to fill orders as fast as they can.
We try our best to do whatever it takes to make sure these babies get fed.
Johnston says it used to take 2 to 3 months to get an order of bottles delivered. Now it's taking up to 7 months. In Tigard, Oregon, Jake Carlexis, Fox News.
A new study suggests drinking milk can increase men's chances of developing prostate cancer. Researchers from Loma Linda University in California studied the data of more than 28,000 men for 8 years. None of the volunteers had cancer, and dairy and calcium consumption for all of the men varied. By the end of the study, analysts found more than 1,000 prostate cancer cases among those participants. Scientists recommend switching to dairy-free options like cashew, oat, or almond milk. And new research indicates plastic wrapping your food can potentially cause infertility and cancer. Researchers from Switzerland found most plastic food packaging and containers can transfer hazardous chemicals into meals. The analysts studied several types of containers and the chemicals that could compromise people's health. One dangerous substance identified as monomer vinyl chloride, which is used to produce plastic. The researchers found almost 400 concerning substances. 352 were dangerous to reproductive health and could even cause cancer and genetic changes. An unexpected visitor made their way into a car, all in pursuit of some fast food. The Jackson Police Department in New Hampshire shared this video on social media of a bear breaking into a car to get some McDonald's leftovers. The officers say the animal went into the parked car in the restaurant parking lot. Police reminding people to keep their windows closed when leaving their cars parked and to keep snacks out of their vehicles. That does it for us. I'm Jamie Holmes. Thanks so much for watching.